Hey y'all, I'm Eliza. Welcome to Different Church's YouTube campus. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe and turn on your post notifications. And don't forget to follow our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're feeling led to, go to dfrnt.church and hit the generosity tab. And from wherever you're watching, I hope that you get something from this video and you come back next week and watch.
Church, welcome. Hey, if you're part of the 615 location, man, whether you're serving in kids, you're behind the camera, you're in the production team, hey, thank you. I love you guys so much. And hey, if you're part of the YouTube campus, I don't know how you got here, TikTok, Instagram, and maybe you're watching from your dorm room, you're in the gym, maybe you're on the treadmill and you're running, you're trying to get fit, summer bod, hot girl summer is happening. Maybe, and you just got us in your earbuds or something. I don't know where you are. You're on your way to work. I just pray that God does something in you. God speaks to you. God nudges your heart, and you begin to see breakthrough in your life. Because that's our goal, that you would discover, why am I made so different? Why do I like the things I like? Why do I talk the way I talk? Why do I do the... God made you different. God made you the way. You know why? So you can reach other people that are different. Isn't that how you become friends with people? You're at school and you hear them talking about a TV show that you thought only you liked, and you're like, oh, you like that show? You like anime? That's weird. Let me holler at you real quick. And then because you're weird, you become friends with people because they're weird like you. And I think God made you the way He made you to reach people that are like you. But if you never discover you, it's really hard, isn't it? You're insecure about the different. And that's my prayer wherever you're at. Like I said, wherever you're watching, I pray that you would discover that we're in a new series today. We're in a new series called BTS, Behind the Scenes. And I don't know how much you keep up with like music videos or movies, but you know, after they release like a music video, like Ariana Grande releases a new music video, you know what she releases right after the music video? The BTS music video, the behind the scenes of, and can I tell you, every final product that you see, every finished product, every movie, every TV show, every music video, every video game, every anything. You know what it has that you don't get to see? A BTS, a behind the scenes. You know what I hate more than anything else? That I don't just wake up with abs. I think if I could pray for anything in my life, that I could just have abs 24/7, no matter what I did. If you ask anybody that's ripped, that's jacked, that's healthy, you know, we're all kind of born the same, a little ugly, just like a baby, like a little alien baby. You're all born like that. But how come some people look really good and others look like me? Why? And if you ask them, they don't just wake up like that, do they? They don't just wake up with clear skin, chiseled abs, huge biceps. They don't do that. If you were to ask them, how'd you get there? You know what they would say? Well, you want to wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym? You want to meal prep every single Sunday night from Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? You want to do that? We see the final product of things, don't we? We see people's Instagram, we see people's bank accounts, we see people's companies, we see marriages, and we think, man, they just woke up and did that. No. There's a BTS. There's a behind the scenes to their breakthrough. There's a behind the scenes to their blessing. And I think that as we look at my life, as I look at my life, if I want to be the husband God's called me to be, if I want to be the dad, if I want to be the business owner, if I want to be the leader, if I want to be if I want the financial breakthrough, if I want all of that, I have to ask myself, what's the BTS to make it happen? What's the meal prep that I need to do? How early do I need to wake up? And you know what's crazy? All throughout the Bible, we talk about David slays Goliath, right? We talk about Daniel in the lion's den. We talk about all these crazy stories, these one-chapter stories. But most of those one chapters have like a 3-chapter BTS. You know that? Most of them have a BTS of about 3 chapters that lead them to the chapter we see. We talk about the final product, but there's a BTS. And in your life, to your breakthrough and to your blessing, what's the BTS? What do you need to do to be the woman, be the man, be the leader, be the business owner, be the student, be the boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, son, daughter, whatever? What's the BTS? So if you have a Bible, because remember, it's all through the Bible. This isn't just something Tyler made up because it's hip, because it sounds cool. No. If you have a Bible, turn to 1 Samuel 17. And we talk about what is the number one, when we talk about the craziest story in the Bible, most people talk about David and Goliath. Really small guy versus really big giant. And who wins? Small guy. And we talk about that, man, he killed Goliath. Do you think he just woke up one morning, grabbed a slingshot and a rock and just killed him? You really think that he was just 15 years old, wakes up, oh, I've never picked one of these up, throws a rock, accidentally hits him, and no. You know why? Well, there's a BTS. There's a behind the scenes to David's life. And I think that as we look at different people in the Bible throughout this summer, we'll see all of them have something different that they did that set them up for breakthrough, that set them up for blessing. And I think in your life and my life, God wants to do the same thing. So look, because I won't just talk about it. Let's read about it. 1 Samuel 17, verse 32. This is right before David fights Goliath, okay? This is right before. 32, don't worry. Listen, this is crazy, man. David's kind of a savage. Don't worry about this Philistine, David told Saul. I'll go fight him. And look at what Saul says. Don't be ridiculous. Saul is the king at the time. David wasn't king yet. Saul's the king. He's fighting Goliath. Don't be ridiculous. There's no way you can fight this Philistine and possibly win. You're only a boy, and he's been a man of war since his youth. Verse 34, but David persisted. I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats. He said, when a lion or bear comes to steal a lamb from the flock, look at this. When a lion or bear come after one of the sheep, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth. If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and I club it to death. I have done this to both lions and bears, and I'll do it to this dude too, for he has defied the armies of the living God. Last verse 37. The Lord who rescues me from the claws of the lion and the bear will rescue me from Goliath. Okay, let's go back, because I think we're missing something. This is the BTS. This is what set David up to kill Goliath. And if there's a giant in my life, if there's a calling on my life, if there's a vision on my life, and it's big, how do I conquer it? How do I conquer it? This is verse 32. Look at this. Because all of us are called to do something great. God didn't just put anyone on this earth like you're a Sims character and you're just like running into walls, not knowing what you're doing. No. He made you on purpose. He wants to do something. So I don't know where you are, who you are. If you're stressed about you don't know what to do in your life, God created you. Get close to him. You'll find out your purpose. You're not just a mom. You're not just a dad. You're not just a worker. You're not just anything. You're powerful. You're powerful. So, verse 32. What does David say? Don't worry about, because they're stressed about Goliath. There's a giant. Nobody wants to fight him. Don't worry about this Philistine, David told Saul. Look at this. I'll go fight him. This like 15, 16-year-old boy, I'll go fight him. And I didn't really put this in my notes. Some of us just need to take action. Our lives, we spend our whole lives searching for comfort, don't we? Let me just get comfortable. Let me get a good amount in my savings. Let my Robin Hood kind of take off. Let me get married. Let me have kids. Let me chill out. Then I'll be good. We seek comfort. David sought a fight. And I think before we get into, because some people, man, you've got a goal, you've got a vision, you've got something God has for your life, and you need to know how to get it. Maybe you're the opposite. Man, I don't know what the giant is. Or I've been really trying to avoid starting something new, stepping out in faith. Maybe your thing is just go fight. Just step out in faith. Do something crazy. Release that music. Start that business. Start that family. I'll go fight. I'll go fight. We seek comfort. And David, a man after God's own heart, was a fighter. He was a man of war. All throughout this Bible, you hear about David leading armies to battle. He was ready to scrap. He was ready to fight. I'm ready to take a nap. I'm ready to chill out, get some cookies, watch Netflix. Like, man, I want comfort. And he said, no, I want to fight. No one else wants to. I'll step out. I'll do it. And so I don't know, before we get into anybody that like, man, I'm ready. I just need encouragement. Maybe you just need to go put the gloves on and start scrapping. Fight with somebody. Do something. So you're not like everyone else standing on the sidelines, man. I don't want to be 80 and be like, man, I had this opportunity. Man, I used to almost do something really cool one time. I don't want to be that old dude that sits in Applebee's talking about how dope I used to be. I want to be owning the Applebee's as somebody's talking. Like, I know that God's got something for me. I'll go fight him. But look at this. Right when you step out, now listen, it's easy. There's a reason everyone sits on the couch. There's a reason Tyler doesn't have abs. Hear me. There's a reason I don't have abs. I don't like to run. I don't like to work out. It's easier here, right, on the couch? Because look what happens. Right when David steps out in faith, right whenever he chases after the calling God has on his life, right when you step out in starting a business, right when you step out in starting to serve, right when you step out in being the mom that, hey, my family's not going to do that anymore. I know I used to. I'm not going to do this anymore. We're not going to listen to that. We're not going to do this. We're not going to talk like that. I'm not spending time. Right when you do that, look at what happens. I'll go fight him, David says. 3 words, Saul says. Don't be ridiculous. You hear that kind of just like belittlement? Don't be ridiculous. And look what Saul says. And I think that this is what stops many of us. Don't be ridiculous, Saul replied. There's no way you can fight this battle, this Philistine, and possibly win. Why? And he says these words. You're only a boy. You're only a boy. Right when David says, I'll go fight. I'll step out. I'll do what no one else wants to do. Right when he did, guess what? You think he got encouraged? Yeah, David, go do it. No. You're just a boy. Who are you? Look how old you are. You do know the last thing flapped, right? You do know. You do know. Who are you to start a business? You just filed bankruptcy. Who are you to get into another marriage? You just went through a divorce. Who are you to do this? Who are you to step into ministry? Who are you to be a leader? Who are you to... You're just a boy. You're BTS, the behind the scenes. But when you step out to do something, most of the battle is here. It's here. Is your mind. The enemy, people, you're just a boy. You can't do that. And right whenever we hear that, if you're waiting, and I don't know who needs to hear, if you're waiting for somebody, for people to agree with you stepping out, you'll be waiting to step out for a long time. If you're waiting for your family to get on board with whatever God's called you to do, you're going to wait for a long time. Listen, ask me how I know. I've been there. I'm just a boy. Just a boy. But you know what's even more dangerous in my mind than the devil? You know who's even more dangerous than people, my family? You know who's more dangerous in here? Me. Tyler. I'm my biggest enemy. I am the person that talks the worst about me. I'm the one saying I'm just a boy. I'm the one that says it. You know, you get all hype, you get hyped about something, you're like, man, I'm gonna do this. And then you lay down, because you like go to a meeting with somebody and they hype you up about it, or you listen to a message, or you listen to a podcast, you're like, bro, I'm doing that. And then you lay down and you go, yeah, I think someone else would do that way better than me. That's not the enemy. That's not anyone else. You know who that is? That's Tyler. That's Tyler. I'm talking myself out of it. Behind the scenes, if you're going to be who God created you to be, you've got to take every thought captive. Every thought that doesn't come from the Holy Spirit. You know, whenever I moved away and I started preaching, and I've preached all over. And I've been so blessed. That is not to showcase anything about, I've just been, if you would have known me before and to see where I've traveled, God has been so good to me. But when God said, hey, go back to Nashville. Go back to Nashville. I don't know if you know much about me, but I'm from Nashville. And just a simple Google search of Tyler Sterban, and you go to page 2 or 3 or 4, you'll find everything I've ever done. It's public record. You can find it. And I'm like, God, what if they bring up what I've done? I'm just a boy. They probably remember everything that I've done. There's no way I can do it. I was trying to talk, but God told me to do this. God told me to. And I'm talking my own self out. I'm just a boy. There's no way they'll listen. There's no way they'll rock with me. There's no way. Stop. Whoever you are, stop. Get out of your head. Pray. Seek Him. Seek Him. Stop. Because the first thing, don't be ridiculous. You can't do it. Why? You are just a boy. And then look at what happens. You're only a boy. And then Saul says, and he's been a man of war since he was a kid. Not only was David pushed down, his giant was lifted up. It got bigger. He's not only strong, it's worse than you think. It's harder than you think. It's more insurmountable than you can imagine. So when you get minimized, the problem gets maximized, and you need to understand who God called you to be, so then you're saying, no, it's not as big. Look at who lives inside of me. But when you belittle yourself and as you shrink, that's when this mountain, this calling, this vision, this future, this giant gets so much bigger. And everyone will remind you, you want to start that business? You know how much that'll cost? You sure? You sure you want to quit that job to do this even though it's unsure? Are you sure? You've got a family now. You can't be thinking like that, Tyler. No. You know how many people told me I was crazy for leaving where I was to start this with no money, with no financial? You know how many people thought I was crazy? It was so big, and Tyler's just a boy. It's here. It's here. Don't allow the enemy, don't allow yourself, don't allow people to talk you out of what God's called you to. And listen, and this is for anyone that's grown up in church, and this is just a side note. when you've heard so much about authority, about leaders, about pastors. Saul was David's king at the time, and he still heard something that was opposite of what God called him to do. And if you feel God is calling you to do something, even if it's somebody in authority of you, you're not disrespectful, but you're just saying, hey, I'm not just a boy. God's called me to this. You're only a boy, and he's been a man since his youth. And look at this. This is where we stop. This is where it starts getting hard. Our BTS, our behind the scenes, this is when it starts getting hard. But David persisted. You're just a boy. He's really big. Don't be ridiculous. But David kept going. Easier said than done, right? Rejection sucks. You know, I'm sure glad my wife denied whenever I asked her to go on a date with me. She said no the first time, and then the second time, and then the third time. Eventually, I just took the date to her because she wouldn't go on a date with me. I'm sure glad the first time I was rejected, I kept being persistent because I knew there was something special about Ryan. I knew that I needed to get close to her. I knew. So it didn't matter if anyone said no. I'm gonna keep shooting my shot. I'm gonna be in the DMs. See you there in a minute. How do you deal with rejection? Only you can answer this. Only you know when your family, when your friends, when your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, when you say, hey, I want to do this, and they go, don't be ridiculous. Do you keep going? Do you keep walking? But David persisted. Easier said than done. Well, check this out. Verse 34, but David persisted, and look at what he says. Remember, BTS, behind the scenes, if I'm going to slay a giant, if I'm going to step out, there are different things that I must do. Right? If I want a massive chest, if I want big arms, if I want toned thighs, it's not just one workout. There are multiple things I have to do. One, how do I handle my mentality? Two, how do I handle rejection? And three, look at this. But David persisted. I have been taking care of my father's sheep. I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats. How do you wait? Because you know David was called when he was young, but he didn't become king the next day. Years later, he became king. How do I handle this waiting period when I know God's called me to do something? I know people don't believe in me, but I know God's going to do it, but there's just some time. What do I do here? This is the hardest part. Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Ask a woman that's ever had a child. You wanted a kid so bad, then you got pregnant and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're like, I just want this thing out, but you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting. If God's gonna birth something in you, there's a season of waiting. And what you do when you're waiting, and what does he say? I've been taking care of my father's sheep and goats. He was serving. He was serving in his waiting. Long before you're successful, long before you're seen, you have to be serving. Serving. And that hurts, doesn't it? Just give me the followers now. Give me the money now. Give me the clout now. I want it now. Will I serve? Will I serve? You know how many times I hear people say, hey, whenever I get the promotion, I'll start getting there early and staying late. Hey, I'll I'll start talking to my wife more when she starts making out with me more. I'll do it then. No. Will you still serve even when you don't see the breakthrough yet? You're waiting. Well, why is it so hard to wait? Why do I hate waiting in line? Why? It hurts. Waiting hurts, doesn't it? So like I said, man, I really hate that I don't have just automatic abs all the time. But you know what the worst workout that's ever existed are? Planks. There is nothing worse than doing a plank. Because you know all you do? You hold and you hurt. You hold and you hurt. You hold and you hurt. You hold and you... It's terrible. You're waiting. There's pain. You're waiting. But if you ask anybody, this is necessary to grow something inside your core. It's doing something inside of you. Your core is growing while you're waiting, while you're hurting. And God's got something in you, and He's doing something deep down inside. But you're waiting, you're holding, and you're hurting, you're holding, and you're hurting. And it sucks. And a lot of times you want to pull out, but you know the outcome. God's going to do something if I just wait. But easier said than done, right? I could barely do that. But God's like, no, I've got something more. Stay in the waiting. It hurts. I know, just stay. And you're like, well, no, I can't. It hurts. But it's doing something under the surface that you have no idea. It's working something in you. Yes, you work a 9 to 5. You're not at the job you want to be at, but it's doing something in you. You're not in the relationship you think you're going to be in, but it's teaching you something. I promise. But we give up. Because it hurts. It hurts to wait. I don't think anyone likes planks. That's miserable. But no one likes waiting either. I know so many people that want a platform. You know how many people come up to me, Tyler, man, how do I start preaching like that? How do I get to travel? And I ask them, do you stack chairs where you're at now? Do you get there early now? Do you help whoever now? Are you at the hospital now? It hasn't always been Tyler just preaches all. Do you know how many hospital rooms I've been in praying for people? How you wait determines where your heart is. Promise. It will reveal if you really love people. It will reveal if you really love what you're supposed to be doing. If you really love God, it does, I promise. I've seen it so many times, and I've seen it in my own life. I've messed up. Will you serve when you're not successful and you're not seen? And if you ask Tyler, no, I don't do that all the time. I just don't. But David persisted. I've been taking care of my father's sheep and goats. Look at this. When a lion or bear come to steal a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth. In your waiting and in your serving, opportunity's coming. While he's watching the sheep and goats, opportunity came its way. At your job right now, in the relationship you're in right now, in being broke right now, in all of these things, opportunity's coming. Does it look like opportunity? I'm sure David didn't. When he saw a lion coming down the pasture, he didn't go, oh man, look at this opportunity. I can't wait for this. No! And a lot of times we just look at it as inconvenience. That's it. I got to get there early. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's opportunity. It's opportunity. The easiest way to be seen, the easiest way to be successful is in serving. Why? Because opportunity's coming in that season. If you want to know why opportunity hasn't come in your way, have you served your boss yet? You want the raise, serve him. Promise. You wonder why your wife or your husband hasn't looked at you, hasn't touched you? Serve them. Serve them. Your kids, you wonder why they don't trust you? Serve them. Maybe you go to a church somewhere and you just haven't gotten into the opportunity. Serve, 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 serve. Hold a door, do something. Opportunity will come. Promise, promise. And if not, call me. Put a mean comment in with the rest of the people. Just do it, I promise. Opportunity's coming. But it looks like inconvenience. It looks hard. It looks like shop opens at 9, you get there at 8. Shop closes at 5, you leave at 7:30. Looks like watching The Bachelorette with your wife when you don't want to, when you want to watch ESPN. That's what it looks like. It does. And look at what happens. Look, in your serving, when a lion or bear come to steal a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth. If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and I club it to death. Look at this. I have done this to bears and lions, and I'll do it to Goliath as well. Could you imagine if David had never fought a lion or a bear, how big Goliath would have looked? I think David would have been a lot more scared if a lion or a bear, or if an opportunity had never showed up in serving. I don't think David would have done it. I don't think he would have. He would have been scared. But because of the lion, because of the bear, because of the opportunity, because of the inconvenience, Goliath, the mountain, the giant, the trial, it's not as scary. Why though? Why? I have done this to lions and bears, and I'll do this to the Philistine as well. Verse 37, and we're done. Because the Lord who rescued me from the lion and bear will rescue me from Goliath. The same God that rescued me over here is the same God that will rescue me over here. We have a really forgetful memory when it comes to how God has been faithful to us. I am really good at doubting God. I am probably the best. If there was a tournament of doubting God, I would win, come in first place. Big bet, promise. Because I'm really good at forgetting how good he was back in 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, whenever. I forget it. David doesn't. He says, he rescued me from the lion and bear. He rescued me from my poverty back in the day. He rescued me from that relationship. He rescued me from that situation. He rescued me. I can't forget now. He'll do it again. And we forget, don't we? We forget. You know, my daughters, so one's 7 and one's 4. About to be 5. Asher would tell you she's about to be 5, so she's 5. In 7 years, I've never missed a meal in their lives. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, never missed a meal. And anytime we're away from the house where they can't just go get a meal, and we're in the car, say we're driving, you know what they'll remind me of in case I forgot? Lunch, dinner. Hey, Dad, are we going to get lunch? Hey, Dad, are we going to get dinner? Hey, Dad, are we going to get breakfast? Have I ever forgotten a meal, bro? No. I've never forgotten to take you to breakfast. Never. In your whole entire existence, I've never forgotten. Why do you feel the need to remind me like I forgot? Well, they're doubting that I remember. They're doubting that I'll come up with the meal again, even though I've always came through, even though I've always supplied, even though I've always been there. And for us, we're sitting here saying, Dad, I'm hungry. Dad, I'm hungry. Hey, real quick, don't forget about me. And he's like, bro, I've literally never forgotten about you. Chill. I'm doing something. You can't see it. We're literally driving to a restaurant. I know you've got to wait in the car for 7 minutes and you're inconvenienced. I'm sorry. And we're just in the back. Dad, don't forget, Dad. Stop. Don't doubt him. He's never changed. The same God that brought you through that, he'll bring you through this wherever you are. And we're done. Wherever you are, like I said, I don't know who you are, what you're going through, what your situation is, what people talk about you. I have no idea. Here's what I know. God's called you to something awesome, to something great. And you know it. But maybe you've just forgotten how good he's been in the past. And I just want to pray that you would be reminded that the same God that brought you through, the same God that brought me through. I mean, like I said, you can just Google me, you'll find out what God's brought me through. The same God. And this thing I'm praying for now, he's going to take care of it. You're okay. God's going to do something in you. Jesus, we love you. And we're sorry when we've forgotten that you are a good dad. We're sorry when we've forgotten that you've always fed us, that you've always nurtured us, that you've always been there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry when I've just been in the backseat. Hey, I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I know you're doing something under the surface, but allow for me in my behind the scenes, allow for me to trust you, to walk in your favor. God, just continue to move, continue to grow, continue to change our entire situations. And God, I'm so excited to see I'm excited to see the thing that you've birthed in us come to life because we've served, we've waited, we've held every thought captive, we've persevered through the pain. See something so real happen in our lives. So God, we love you. We thank you. We praise you. It's in your name we pray. And everybody said, amen. Hey, what's up? My name's Tyler, and you are a part of our Different Church YouTube campus. And I just want to say thank you. I'm the pastor here. And here's a few things that you can do to stay a part. 1, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Be alerted anytime something drops or releases. We want you to be a part, we want you to be encouraged and inspired and figure out what your different is. But maybe you want to tell your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, whoever. Maybe you want to send that, just share it. Because what I've learned in ministry, people will open a link to a church long before they ever open the door to a church. And maybe you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. Follow us, Different Church Nashville. Be a part. See what we're doing every single day. And maybe, last but not least, you're an OG. You're a real one. You really want to get plugged in. All you got to do is go to different.church. That's DFRNT.church. Find out more about us, the church, how to give, how to be a part, all of that. But I love you, and I will see you next video.